mosquitoes here are absolutely freaking insane. Rain every single day for the month of July in this country, and there's a wetland straight behind the cameras, about, I don't know, 100 yards behind that spruce timber, where there's a grizzly bear trail, and the mosquitoes are just absolutely unfreaking believable. But anyway, here we go. We'll grunt it out and get an email shared here as the sun's going down behind me in the middle of north central British Columbia. Remote. Greetings, Steve. First off, I would like to thank you for providing a place for those of us that have had experiences to watch and listen and share without ridicule. Also, your book arrives today via Amazon. I can't wait to read it. And thank you very much for grabbing the book, and make sure you leave it out for somebody else to read when you're done with it too, okay? Keep it out there spreading around, because somebody out there is going to need to read that sucker and feel better about what they've experienced and know that they're not alone. Anyway, my experience was while elk hunting in the Colonel Bob Wilderness in the Olympic National Forest of Washington the fall of 2017 during modern elk season. I was getting ready to bed down in my truck tent in a very remote dead-end spur road located in heavy timber, with a deep ravine on one side and steep high terrain on the other. I never really gave the Sasquatch possibility much of a thought, even though I have hunted for years in this location, which is believed by many to be very active. As I was preparing to bed down, I decided, and to this day I'm not sure why, to thump a large fir tree with a 4-inch solid limb I found. The sound resonated through the deep timber and through the ravine, and it was extremely loud. In hindsight, I realized this is not one of my brightest moments. Anyways, around 30 seconds later, I was securing my camp. I heard to the north above me, in high, deep timber, a tree being what seemed to be being pushed or shoved. And this continued until I heard the tree split and then crash to the forest floor. It was a sizable timber and extremely loud. This itself was somewhat unnerving, but I was trying to rationalize this as a naturally occurring event or some other cause. What happened next caused me to quickly disassemble my tent, throw my cooler on top, and drive the 8 miles out in a hurry. I heard audible vocal noises, like gibberish of some kind. I tried to explain it to my wife, and the only way I could describe it was like coyote yelps, but mixed with some sort of language. What really made me exit quickly was that there were two communicating with each other, one above me and one in the ravine below me. I also heard heavy movement in the timber above and below. Anyways, I did report this event to the BFRO. Fortunately for me, the gentleman who responded and went with me to the site is a great guy. And I believe you met him in Washington at the event you attended, and he and I still stay in touch. Anyway, Steve, that is what happened to me. It scared the crap out of me. Keep up the great work and support for those fearful of ridicule. Please feel free to use my story, but due to my position in local government, I prefer you just use Bob in Washington. Thanks. Okay, thanks, Bob. Thanks for that. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. And you know it's going to help somebody else for sure. And I do remember meeting that gentleman in Washington. He's a good guy. And he also, we discussed a few concerns I had about the leadership of that organization, which is basically dog shit. And he said I was right on point. Take note. So, no, I'm not against every single person associated with that group. It's the leadership. Okay, they're dirtbags. They withhold information and they change people's stories, and they do anything to make a buck. And they use and abuse people, and that's a fact. All right. But to all you many people who are out there who have said flat out the only reason you're associated with them is because you have access to that data, and I get it. I totally get it. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll decide to get that data myself, and you can have access to it here, possibly. Don't get excited. It's just a thought. But maybe it's time to have an absolute credible gang of people in control of this narrative and keeping it honest one day, don't you think? But getting back to your story, yeah, that's unnerving. I had two of those things beaten on trees above me on either side of me one time. I told that in one of my videos on the YouTube channel, and it just made me feel absolutely vulnerable, and I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I couldn't snowshoe out to my snowmobile fast enough and get out of there. It's just the way it is. You know, there's a lot of people out there that would say things like, "Oh, I try to communicate with them." Like, really? Well, you might say that now, but I'll guarantee you when these experiences go down, there's nothing warm and fuzzy about them. You do not get warm and fuzzy, let's go share a steak dinner feeling at all, you know? So, but anyway, once again, share my story at howtohunt.com, tell my story at howtohunt.com, and if you feel you need your experience shared in a safe place, well, this is the safe place, so you can do it here. There you go. There's another one. All right, I just had to look at the cameras for a quick second and notice the backdrop is pretty freaking stunning right now. Holy shit, it's pretty cool. So yeah, it's a real backdrop. It's not a green screen. And this is what bedtime's like in the middle of frickin' nowhere. And might as well tell Sasquatch stories before bed, before you jump in the tent, right? Okay, so listen to this one. Okay, there's an ad on the top. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry about the few typos, but I wanted to share a few more details. As the being got closer and stopped, I got the feeling it knew we were there, but I don't believe it knew where I was. I feel that's why it roared. As we walked back the whole way, I had this gut instinct that this being could have taken me if I would have been by myself. I don't know if this helps you. I know you're busy. Keep up the good fight. All right. Well, let's get on with the original email. Here we go. Hey, love the channel. Don't put my name out, but my name is... I'd like to share my story with you. I live in Alabama. Alabama's one of my favorite states. Spent a lot of time there. I'm a former U.S. Army vet. I've been hunting my whole life. I grew up with a gun and a bow in my hand from early age of 6. I know the woods. I know the native animals. I've hunted them. I've hunted from Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Tennessee. I've hunted alligator, boars, wild turkey, and ducks. I fly fish all over North Carolina, Kentucky, and Tennessee. I spent many a day in the wilderness. It's my home. Now let's get to the story. I went hunting with my dad in '98 to a spot we frequently hunted. I loved the spot, killed many whitetails there. We were bow hunting in January. It's funny how you guys get the January rut down there. I've actually hunted that. It's pretty crazy because our rut basically peters out mid-December. Sorry. We parked the truck, back up. All right. We parked the truck, pack up the climbers, which are tree stands for all you not familiar. The tree stands are on our back and head out. From the truck to the spot is about 2 miles of hiking mountain terrain. We get to my dad's tree and I continue to hike another 300 to 350 yards till I get to my spot. The woods are thick and I can't see my dad and he can't see me, but we are close. Normally I go further in the woods of this spot, but because we are bow hunting, we are concentrating on 4 game trails that all came together and using the terrain as it funnels in 2 different spots. We had been hunting all day. Towards the end of the day, maybe 2 hours before dark, I see a few does come by. Shortly after that, I heard a strange noise that can only be described as a whoop. At that time, I had no idea of Bigfoot behavior. We lived in such a rural community that we only had 3 TV stations and you couldn't get cable. Lucky you. Lucky you. I remember thinking, what was that? Not knowing or even thinking about Bigfoot, I sat there patiently. Now take note. The whoop came from the north of me from top of a ridge. Now maybe 15 minutes later, I heard a noise coming from the south. It appeared to be walking in a northern direction between me and my dad. I remember thinking, that's a man. And I was looking for Orange. The sound got closer and closer. I believe if it had went any further, it would have stepped out in the open, then it stopped. I was looking the direction, I couldn't see it. Then all of a sudden it roared or yelled. It was so deep and loud it made my chest rattle. My arms stand straight up. Me and my dad carried 2-way radio with us, and with ear-piercing mic, he came over the radio, said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, what was that?" He said, "I have no idea." but whatever it is, it's between us. Dad said, sit tight, wait for dark, and maybe it'll move out away from us. Oh my God, that must have been a long wait, man. So night falls and I start down the tree, pack my climber, get my bow, and start making my way towards my dad, anxiously walking, knowing that I'm heading directly towards whatever made that sound. And that would have took a set of cojones, as I never heard it leave after the roar. So halfway to my dad, I started hearing it. I'd step, it stepped. I stopped, it stopped. I continued towards my dad, knowing it was real close. I get to my dad in one piece. I tell him we got company, something big is trailing me. He kinda laughed. But either way, all we had was a couple bows and knives, so we start making our way towards the truck. As soon as we started hiking towards the truck, it followed. We stepped, it stepped. We stopped, it stopped. At some points, it must have been within 20 yards behind us, and to the left. It was terrifying. 2-mile hike with 40 pounds of gear in the dark is about an hour to an hour 30-minute walk, depending on the terrain. So it was an uneasy feeling. As we got to the creek and make our way across, we start heading in a different direction. The wind changes and we moved and we were downwind of it. Sorry, like I said before, I've never pre-read or edited any of these, okay? This is raw, straight from the email, so bear with me. I'm not the best reader on the planet. We could smell this skunky type smell, but it didn't really smell like a skunk. But we pushed on. This thing followed us for 2 miles all the way to the truck. We threw our stand in the back, jumped in the cab as quickly as we could, and left. My dad won't talk about it. Neither one of us have ever hunted that spot again. No doubt. I've got a few spots I haven't been to. Again. I've been around gators, boars, bobcat. I've seen mountain lion once, coyote. All these, with an exception of a gator, will literally try to get away from you. I've had no experience with grizzly, just black bear. But point being is they don't want to be around humans. I know what these animals sound like, and they don't sound like a 300-pound man walking through the woods. Furthermore, it was January. Bears aren't around. So what was this? A random man walking through the woods in the dark without a flashlight for 2 miles? Off rough country? Don't think so. I never seen what it was, but it wasn't anything I've seen or heard. Been hunting for 37 years, and I've only had one experience that I can't explain logically. Thanks for all you do. Now, this hunt was in the Talladega National Forest, close to Piedmont. We were hiking down the Pinhoti Trail, which runs the Appalachian Mountain Range. And there you go. There's another unnerving experience in the woods by yet more hunters. And, one thing everybody take note of these experiences, obviously the people didn't get harmed because they're emailing me, emailing us, right? And I think I mentioned a couple of videos earlier, there isn't a predator alive that wants to kill you that makes noise and warns you. Nothing. Nothing that wants to kill you purposely makes you become aware. So take note about these numerous emails where that happens. Where everybody gets the living crap scared out of them, which is very easy. I've been there. But when you sit down and think logically about it, more people than not are actually being warned or herded away or just purposely scared to purposely make you leave. And that's fine by me, man. If you can do it subtly, I'll leave. I don't give a shit. I don't need some 9 or 10 foot tall being breathing down my neck as I walk out to the truck or ride out or whatever. And I somewhat sort of experienced that when I was 17, 18 years old. And it is the longest walk out of the forest you'll ever experience in your lifetime in the dark, man. It sucks ass. But there you go. There is another one. How about that crazy ass backdrop? We're going to restoke this fire a little bit, and it's going to cause a little bit of smoke and ruin the backdrop for the next couple emails, but who knows, maybe we'll move the camera on another angle so everybody can see what else is behind me here. And I'll carry on and get a couple more emails out. There you go. Keep them coming. I'll keep reading them.